Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, Astrid Cameo, where we talk about all things Transformers. And in today's video, I'm just gonna be here in the setting for just a bit. So pretty much last week I had the opportunity of interviewing and speaking to the incredible Jessica DiGiovanni, who voices ARCEE in Transformers War for Cybertron, as well as WINDBLADE in Transformers Cyberverse. So I spoke to her, we had a great chat, and we spoke about a lot of things Transformers, as well as her experience in the Transformers fandom, what it was like for her to voice these two amazing female iconic characters. So it's a whole 45-minute chat, of which you are going to see just in a bit. But yeah, I really don't have much to say other than that. I hope you guys enjoy the interview, the casual chat that the two of us had. I hope it is insightful. I'll leave all of her socials down below for you guys to check out because she is such an incredible person, incredible actress. Again, I'm super honored to have her come on here and to have spoken with her. So yeah, thank you guys so much again for all your support, and without further ado, let's get the interview rolling. So today we have Jessica DiGiovanni, who voices ARCEE from Transformers War for Cybertron and WINDBLADE from Transformers Cyberverse. Jessica, thank you so much again once more for coming on here and taking the time to come on here. It really means so much. I am such a huge fan of your work. ARCEE and WINDBLADE in particular are two of my most favorite Transformers characters, so it's kind of like a fangirl moment for me right now as well. Yeah, it really means so much. I remember like watching Cyberverse back when it came out, and I was like, I really need to know who voices WINDBLADE because this is like, you bring the character to life, and it was just so incredible. I was like, so yeah, thank you so much for coming on here.
Yeah, well, thank you for asking me. I'm so flattered. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It just makes me so happy when I hear things like
that.
Yeah,
truly. So first of all, I guess for my audience as well on YouTube, I want to ask kind of your backstory on voice acting. How did you get into it? Was it always like your dream to kind of get into voice acting, or I don't know, what's the story behind it?
Yeah, so no is the quick answer. No, actually, I mean, I've always been very good at voices, doing accents, imitating, doing character voices, you know, and voiceover was something that sort of found me. I was in a play and his agent was there and was like, hey, you know, would you want to do some voiceover? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And I just started booking stuff like right off the bat. It became a way for me to make a living as an actor. I was really grateful for it. So I was doing commercials and mostly actually like commercials and industrial things, and not a ton of animation, which may be sad because I love doing characters and animation and character voices. But eventually I got an email from my agent as I was packing for a trip, and I was sort of like, you know, last minute packing. So I was just like, all right. I had like a blanket over my head. I had my phone recording, and I just like did it quick, sent it off, you know, and where I was going, I didn't have cell service. So I got back a week later and I had booked the job, and I was like, oh my God, okay, cool. And so that's sort of how I got into the Transformers universe. But it was nothing that I was actively pursuing. I was very lucky in that regard. I do love doing it though. You know, it is something that's surprisingly came to me. And I even had a psychic tell me once, he was like, I'm seeing you recording like a CD or something. He's like, you're in a studio. He's like, you're recording your album or something. And I was like, okay. And then I remember a few years later in the booth, and I was like, oh my God, he thought it was music, but it was actually voiceover. So I thought that was really interesting.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah, that
Isn't
is
that
so
weird?
cool. Yeah. Because I've heard a lot of like stories about people actually saying how they went to psychics and then like 2 or 3 years later what the psychic told them actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe I need to see a psychic or something.
Maybe this is your sign.
But no, I also maybe, yeah. But I also watched that one video of you at TFCon, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You told that story about how you were just packing for the trip and you got kind of the job
Yeah.
for was it Windblade?
Yes, it was WINDBLADE. That was a job. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how did you feel in that moment when you got that job?
I was a little bit shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, because it's always the ones where you just sort of like you don't have time to overthink it and you just like send it in and move on with your day, and not the ones that you really really want,
Hmm.
are the ones that you get. So I
Hmm.
was kind of like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know anything about it, and so I like
Hmm.
deep dove into the world of Transformers, and I love it. It's amazing, all the metaphors
Hmm.
and the stories and storylines.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was a really cool moment because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally in animation, you know, finally get to do
Animation, yeah.
something that that I've always sort of done behind the scenes on my own with my friends or whatever, but never
Hmm.
professionally. So it was a really neat experience.
Hmm.
And also, I thought in my mind, I always thought for animation, like you recorded in the same booth together with
Hmm.
whoever's in the scene with you. But I found out that,
Yeah.
it's just you by yourself. And that was an interesting
Hmm.
experience too, really having to use your imagination and, you know,
Hmm.
create whoever this person is or
Yeah.
this robot is across from you, and what they may be doing and reacting to that. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was also shocked about that as well because when I kind of like looked into voice actors and voice
Hmm.
acting, I also thought that they recorded in the same booth because naturally it'd be easier for you to kind of just exchange dialogue. To know that you have to do it kind of by yourself and just use your imagination, I think that that takes immense like talent and creativity and so yeah, I don't think I could ever do voice acting.
Oh, you don't
But
know.
for
You
the
don't know
people
until
who
you
do it
try.
like you,
You don't know.
I mean, yeah, never say never, but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, no, it is really, really incredible, and especially for you to like kind of bring these characters to life. And I know a lot of people do really like Windblade and RC from those two respective shows, so I think you really did a fantastic job with those two characters. But before
Thank
we
you. You're
kind
gonna
of
make me
like
cry. Oh.
Oh, no, no, no. I truly mean it because I've seen like the compliments from the Transformers fandom, but also just from me personally because again, they're kind of like my girl power characters.
Yeah.
And to have you kind of like voice both of them is just like really, really incredible.
Awesome. Thank you. You got Transformers
Yeah.
fans are so sweet. You all are so amazing. I feel really grateful to be in this community. Like I just feel so much love from you guys. You're so awesome. So I'm grateful to you too. It's so nice to meet you too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is so nice to meet you. Um, so before we kind of dive into that kind of the whole Transformers thing, I know we kind of went into that a bit.
Hmm.
I wanted to ask you first, I know you gave a bit of background, but what would you consider was kind of like your first, maybe I would say big break into like acting or voice acting?
Hmm.
So what was that?
Yeah. So I think for acting, I booked. So I was working right out of college. I had booked a show, a play, right out of college, but I booked a
Did you
more
go
higher.
to film school or just
I went to theater school, so I went to Fordham University at Lincoln Center, and I was
Ah,
there
okay.
for 4 years.
Okay.
So I was in the city
Mhm.
in New York, and
Mhm.
I booked a play, I think in 2011. Yeah, in
Mhm.
2011, and that was like my first big professional gig. That's how I got like the bigger
Mhm.
voiceover agent, and it just sort of
Mhm.
propelled me into being a working actor and not having to have
Mhm.
a survival job for a while. And that was great.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a show I did with Rosie Perez was in that, David Hyde Pierce was in that, Michael
Mm-hmm.
Chernus, Colby Minifie. And it was just a great
Mm-hmm.
cast. Everybody's doing so well now, you know. But yeah, it was a great first play written by Molly Smith Metzler, who has like a Netflix deal now. She wrote Made,
Mm-hmm.
she wrote on Orange is the New Black. She's got a new show coming out now, called Siren or Sirens. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so that was like my big break, I feel, into
Yeah.
the acting world, where it
Mm-hmm.
propelled me into being a professional actor. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and voiceover wise, I booked a Hershey's commercial once that did really well. Um,
Okay.
yeah, like it was like a Christmas Hershey's commercial, and so like they kept airing it every Christmas, which
Mm-hmm.
was nice. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I mean, like voiceover is weird. It's just, you book a campaign or you book a commercial and then it's on
It
to the
just
next
kind of
thing,
like pops
Yeah.
up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I would say
Yeah.
probably like
So
Transformers
with
voiceover wise introduced me to like a whole other
mm-hmm.
level of voiceover, of like having fans and like, really becoming
Mm-hmm.
a character. Whereas, voiceover for commercial stuff is, you're sort of a character, but it's really just you're selling something. So this
Yeah.
was more in
Mm-hmm.
depth.
And just like speaking to you right now, I can just hear Windblade's voice in the background. I don't know. Again, like
Yeah, no,
I
it's
said,
very
I'm just like
similar to
talking,
my
but then
voice.
in my head it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Cosmos
okay,
is
so I
was the
think
most different from my voice, and that was really fun.
uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So, how I guess I wanted to ask like when you're in the recording studio then, did you have any guidance on like how you wanted to kind of voice Windblade first? We'll get into RC later, but
Mhm.
with Windblade, how did you want to portray her?
Well, I was just talking to someone about this. So I definitely did a ton of research on her, and
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's her calling, her personal, just what's the word? Like, it's not vendetta. That's the opposite
I
of
guess like
vendetta.
life path or
Life
like
path. Yeah, like I can't think of the word. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, like her passion for where she's from and protecting it and
Mm-hmm.
protecting the Allspark
Mm-hmm.
is something that I really held on to
Mm-hmm.
with her. That's just sort of driving her
Mm-hmm.
whole being. And I asked for a mock-up of Windblade before we started recording so that I could get a visual of what what she would look like, because that really does inform
Yeah.
a voiceover artist performance. And one thing that they did is they got rid of some of the
Mm-hmm.
feminine qualities that she had before, like high heels. They gave her flatter feet
Mm-hmm.
so that she's more grounded. And so that
Yeah.
was also
Yeah.
something I sort of
Mm-hmm.
took into account. So when I was in the booth, I stood like how she would stand, like if I had wings and I had,
Mm-hmm.
my feet really grounded on the floor, strong. So those are some of the things that helped
Yeah.
me uh, find her, find her strength
Mm-hmm.
and find her uh, mission. I still can't find the word, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like her mission. It's her drive.
There is a word for it, yeah.
Yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
also really love the idea that she's a city speaker, so that it's almost like a spiritual aspect to
Yes.
her. So she's almost like sort of this all-knowing, very
Mm-hmm.
intuitive um, transformer, which I also love. And I also don't understand why they haven't put her in one of the big blockbuster movies, because I think that is such a cool aspect of being a transformer, is to be a city speaker. um so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all of
Yeah.
those sort of combined helped me um with her you know
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like following up on what you said, um, about like her, I think her potential. I know
hmm
she has been used a lot in TV shows,
hmm
but like you said, her being like a city speaker, having that spiritual aspect. I think with Transformers, and this is something I talk about a lot, is that people kind of think that it's still a kind of like show or a thing for kids. when really there's still kind of like there's a big lore behind it.
Oh my
So the
gosh.
story is
Yes.
like incredible behind it.
Yes.
Um,
100%.
so yeah, and I feel like things with like you said, spiritual aspects or like Windblade being a city speaker, I think would be really, really beneficial to have on the big screen. Just to
Mhm.
kind of show that it's not just like robots fighting in space, I guess. Um,
100%.
but yeah, but also, yeah, you, again, I keep going back to this. You kind of have this like spiritual, I'm not sure, now I'm trying to find the word for it, like
Yeah.
spiritual or like royal kind of feel to your voice when you voice Windblade as well in particular.
Thank you.
So that just adds on to like that
Hmm.
aspect of her. um,
Yeah, her presence, right?
so
Like her power,
yeah.
her command of the
Hmm.
space and the situation. Of like, okay, let's get back on task here. Like, let's keep in mind what is
Hmm.
important, what we, um, finding
Hmm.
the rest of the Autobots, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you feel like when you were voicing her throughout those 3 seasons that she kind of went on, I don't know, you could say like a character growth journey? Did you feel that with her, or
Yeah, I felt
how did
her.
you feel when you were voicing? Yeah.
Yeah, I found her sort of. I think, we meet her and she's like, everything's on her shoulders. It's a lot, right?
Hmm.
And she's trying to take care of
Yeah.
Bumblebee, which is like taking care of like a 2-year-old, you know? So
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think as the
Hmm.
series goes on, she finds a, a, a way to sort of like relinquish all the control that she needs to have, I find. And I think that her
Hmm.
love for Bumblebee and her love for the Autobots deepens throughout the series as well.
Yeah.
Especially, if
Hmm.
any of us, right? Like that's very relatable. Like when you lose something that
Hmm.
you had, you really
Hmm.
appreciate when you have it back, And so I think like having that community
100%. Yeah.
back and um also, and I think, she learned a lot about herself and um using her city speaker powers too, right? In a different way than she had
Hmm.
before, like helping a Bumblebee unlock memories and things like that with somebody that she like knows really well. So that's sort of a vulnerable
Hmm.
thing for her to do because she feels like, okay, this is someone I care about. I want to make sure that I do this right. So I do think that there's a lot of growth that
Hmm.
happened throughout the series with her,
Hmm.
and her and Bumblebee specifically, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I really love their kind of, I don't know, would you kind of consider them to have like a sibling dynamic or more of like a friend dynamic, or
Well, I'm curious,
those two?
how did you interpret it? I'm always curious to hear what other people say before I say it.
For me, the thing is, I think the first season, specifically, like you said, like he kind of is like a 2-year-old. So in that sense, I really pictured Windblade to be like the big sister kind of figure to Bumblebee. But I think Bumblebee also grows throughout the
Hmm.
series later on. He kind of matures a bit more. So then later on, I kind of think they develop into more of like a friendship kind of dynamic. But just at the beginning, I definitely thought like, yeah, Windy is like the
Windy.
big
Oh my
sis
God, yeah, I've
here.
never heard anyone say that. Is that her nickname? Is that one of the nicknames?
Okay, so I'm not sure if that's actually like an official nickname, but I saw it somewhere like a few years back.
I love it.
So
Keep
then
it.
I
Keep
just kind of keep
it.
saying
Oh,
it now.
Windy. And I'm also from Chicago,
Windy.
the Windy City, so it actually works really well. It has many layers.
That works amazing.
It
Yeah.
works amazing. Yeah, it works amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Okay.
love that. I love that so much.
So
Yeah.
Windy and Bumblebee, actually, the writers wanted it to be like a sibling relationship. So
Hmm.
what you picked up on
Okay.
is what they
Hmm.
were going for with this series. Yeah, they wanted to deepen it
Right.
and
Okay.
explore it in a way that it hadn't been explored in other series. So that was their goal for
Hmm.
their relationship.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you nailed it.
Yeah, so I did kind of pick up on that.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, yeah, so that was Windblade. Now I want to kind of touch on RC. I know she has a bit of a, especially in War for Cybertron, a bit
Mm-hmm.
of a smaller role, I'd say, compared to Windblade in Cyberverse. But
Mm-hmm.
first of all, how did you get that role? Did you know you wanted to play more Transformers characters, or what was the process like?
Yeah, so I've always like known about RC, but someone who worked on the other show, Cyberverse, reached out to me from
Mm-hmm.
this show, from War for Cybertron, and they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, we would love for you to voice RC." And so that's how I got the
Mm-hmm.
role, and yeah, it was a very different take and um,
Mm-hmm.
lack of a better word, vibe than Windblade. You know, they gave me like Michelle Rodriguez
Mm-hmm.
in Fast and the Furious vibes and like Alien. Like they wanted like dark, sort of like
Yeah.
badass war lady. And so that's what I brought
Mm-hmm.
into RC. But you're right. She
Mm-hmm.
really I remember when I it felt like we recorded so much and for so long, and then when I saw the series I was like, man, I'm actually not in it very much. I was like, oh wow, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
a lot, even though it did feel like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's got a bit of a smaller role in that series. But yeah, that was a more of a
Mm-hmm.
darker, grittier read. Hmm.
Yeah, that's another thing I did want to touch on because Cyberverse is, I think, I guess you could say tailored more to kids or like a
Hmm.
younger
Like a
audience.
younger audience.
I
Yeah.
think,
It's
yeah.
not like Rescue Bots
For
though.
War for
Rescue Bots like very
Cybertron,
young. It's older than it's for an older group than Rescue Bots. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like in
yeah.
that
So it's
middle
like a,
range. Yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, War for Cybertron is really, even I found it quite dark personally, even
Hmm.
like when I watched it. So yeah, how did it, I don't know, did it surprise you when you kind of saw this and it was like, oh, an animation like Transformers, but it was also like, it had a really dark, gritty feel to it?
It it didn't surprise me because they had shown me images
Mm-hmm.
in the studio and we had
Mm-hmm.
talked about it because the director was very specific
Mm-hmm.
and knew exactly what he wanted. So to me, I was
Mm-hmm.
not surprised because I knew visually what it was going to be. But
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the fans were surprised. That's what I get when I
Mm-hmm.
talk to them. They're like, "Yeah, we were, that
Yeah.
it's dark." Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is
Hmm.
really dark, yeah. And so for RC, how, I'm sure you got like you said, like a mock-up or a character sheet for her, but how did you want to portray her throughout the show?
I found honestly a lot of similarities between her and Windblade. But
Mm-hmm.
I, whenever I play female roles, which is all the time, I guess. I mean, I guess Cosmos is a male, but and some of the other
Mm-hmm.
characters are male. So yeah, so whenever I play a female role or voice a female role, I always
Mm-hmm.
try to find her strength because I really love to play against any sort of female stereotypes or female norms, um,
Mm-hmm.
if possible, if and when possible, um, because women are super strong and intelligent and capable of doing
Mm-hmm.
incredible things. So um, I always take that into the room with me whenever I voice any role. And so that's what I went in with.
Mm-hmm.
RC is a warrior. RC, you know, is is a badass, ready for
Mm-hmm.
anything and a great teammate. And so I think, yeah, that's the mentality I came in with. But I'm always open. The director's always going to give us, steer us where they want us
Mm-hmm.
to go to fit in with the rest of the show. Because again, we're just in there by ourselves, and
Mm-hmm.
they know what everyone else has been doing,
Mm-hmm.
and so we need that director to make us
Yeah.
all cohesive, to make it. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
go in there and be like,
Yeah,
"Hi,
for
I'm
sure.
RC," that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. RC is a very kind of like interesting character, but also, okay, I do want to ask this. I'm not sure if you'll have an answer for it. do you have a preference between RC or Windblade?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I love Windblade, and I think I love Windblade because she's the
Mm-hmm.
first one I ever voiced because she's fan
Mm-hmm.
made. She sort of
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a
Yeah.
ton of like legacy behind her yet, which I love. There's more
Mm-hmm.
room to originate and be put my own twist on it.
Yeah.
RC, I just didn't have enough to do. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
lot to do in that series. I probably would feel differently
Mm-hmm.
if I did more,
Mm-hmm.
but I also just really liked that there were moments of comedy in Cyberverse because I as me as
Mm-hmm.
an actor, I really
Yeah.
love comedy. It's one of my favorite things. It is my
Mm-hmm.
favorite thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So to have those like funny
Yeah.
lighter moments is I feel more
Mm-hmm.
me, you know? I can do
Yeah.
dark. It's
Mm-hmm.
fine,
Yeah.
but I have
Mm-hmm.
more fun with comedy. So I think that's also why I
With
feel
comedy, yeah.
drawn to Windblade because that world that we're
Yeah.
in there has room for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like you said, I think you need that kind of connection as well as an actor or voice actress, um, with your characters. So I guess with RC, with a more kind of smaller role, I don't know how much time you had to, I guess, be familiar with her, but I'm guessing with Windblade you had a lot more. That was like 3 seasons and pretty much almost every
Hmm.
episode.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that. And I also did want to ask because you did touch on like your experience in the Transformers fandom, but I know you've been to like a few Transformers conventions, TF cons.
Hmm.
So what has your overall experience been like in this fandom? I know you've kind of touched on it, but
Hmm.
I do want to hear a bit more on like with the fans and like just the people you've worked with as well when you're in the studio, all of that.
Yeah, amazing. Like I was not expecting the world that I came into. I didn't know what to expect.
Mhm.
I'd never gone to a con before. I didn't really know what to do or what we do. Um,
Mhm.
and it was just the most. Ugh, it's like a love fest. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just hugs
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
people, telling me how much, the Transformers means to them and Windblade and
Mhm.
little girls and women coming up to me and being like, she's such an inspiration to me. And like that is
Mhm.
really the like as for me as an actor is like the best thing you can hear is when somebody is like it's really like when you said earlier in our interview it's like that she inspires you
Yeah.
and like that is like that's what I'm going for,
Mhm.
so it's just
Yeah.
people have come to me and told me like their most intimate life stories and how it ties in with Transformers. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like I've cried. It's just been a really beautiful experience, and the fans are just
Mhm.
wonderful. I have these two fans that always show up, and they're always like, "Are you okay? Do you need water? Can I get you anything?" like they love to take care of you. You know what I mean? It's just the sweetest thing ever. And
Mhm. Yeah.
I didn't ask for
Mhm.
this, and I just feel so grateful that
Mhm.
this community has been so open and welcoming to me and the Cyberverse crew.
Mhm.
We're just happy to be doing what we're doing and that we can help make
Mhm.
people's lives brighter. But yeah, it's been awesome.
Mhm.
That's why I keep coming back because it's just
Mhm.
the cons are so much fun. I love meeting everybody,
Yeah.
hearing their stories.
Yeah. Do you have any plans for going to future conventions?
Yeah, yeah. It depends on sometimes they reach out to me. Um, Sometimes I
Mhm.
reach out to them. Sometimes my schedule doesn't really allow it, but it's
Mhm.
possible I'll be going to the one in LA in
Mhm.
March, I think it is, but I don't know. It's still up in the air.
Yes.
But yeah, I try
Mhm.
to do at least like one a year if I can,
Mhm.
because they're the
Yeah.
best. TF Con's the
It's
best. I've
it's
done
really
other
nice
cons where there's
hearing
other
like
characters, from other different shows, but the ones when
yeah.
it's like just Transformers,
Mhm.
that's when I have the most fun. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. Oh no no no. First of all, that's like really nice to hear as well from like again, I think in this fandom it's very close knit. I think,
Mm.
the Transformers fandom. So I think not just between the fans, but also between like the cast and crew and the fans. I think the story behind it is what connects us. So I think that's
Mm.
where all the love comes from. And yeah, but I did want to ask as well, do you have any, well, I mean, depending on like if there's any Transformers like shows, whatever, coming out in the future, but if, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, would you still be willing to come back to voice either a character you've played or a new character, possibly?
Oh my gosh, always. Yeah, any creative endeavor, I'm always down. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had a lot
Mm-hmm.
of fans come up to me and show me their beautiful art. Like, there's so many talented people in this community
Mm-hmm.
too. And I've had people come up to me and do
Yes.
their
Yeah.
own voices to me, like do voiceover to me, like
Oh,
describing their
yes.
characters, which is a riot. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now I know more about it.
Yeah,
So it's not like I'm
that would
getting
be
a job
amazing.
with a, in a universe I didn't know, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be absolutely amazing because, again, you were incredible as Windblade and RC in both of these shows. Um,
Thank
yeah,
you.
so before I just close off, I do want to ask about your kind of personal, kind of your future goals in the acting um, industry
Mm.
or in voice acting or just in life in general. How do you see yourself, I guess, in like 10 to 15 years?
Ooh, I love this question. 10 to 15 years. I've been on a successful, funny TV show where I've been working with people that I love on material that I love that uplifts
Mm-hmm.
everybody. Maybe I have originated a fun character in an animated film, maybe like sort of like Inside Out or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I probably own my own production company and I'm making my own stuff now with people that I really love to create with.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in a beautiful house on the beach. And I'm helping lift up other artists and helping people create things. Um, and I'm super strong and super healthy, and life is amazing. Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. That's so inspiring and so
Yeah.
yeah, no. Do you have any like future, not future, sorry, any dream roles? I did want to ask this earlier. I didn't
Mm.
get the chance to, but do you have any like characters that you've like maybe always wanted to voice or
Mm.
play?
Not really. No. I mean, no. No. I'm really bad at questions like that because yeah, I'm sort of the person I kind of just like take what
But
comes to me and but I do
mhm.
relish anything that lets me use my vocal range and like be different characters or do
Mhm.
different voices, so that's always something that's really fun for me.
Mhm.
Um I might, you know what, it's always like I think I've always it's would be fun for me to be like an evil queen. I think that would be fun, like you do like a
Oh, okay.
like that, something like that's really fun because I
Wow.
always play the nature of my voice. I think is it's sort of bright and it's like hey so I
Mhm.
would get cast a lot as like you know a kid
Mhm.
character or like a a more brighter sort of vibe like the lead in like Amy Poehler in
Yeah.
Inside Out. But I think it would be really fun to play like an evil queen
Mhm.
or a kid.
Yeah, I
But they love
listened
doing
to
kid
your
voices
like
too. That's fun.
it's just like you have like a bunch of characters like in you.
Inside of
Like
me,
that's
yeah,
the
like a
impression that I
crazy
get.
person.
Yeah, of like yeah.
100%.
Well, not crazy person. I think more of a talented creative person. Um,
Thank you. You're right. No,
but
I stand corrected.
yeah. I listened to your I think one of your reels on your website. I think
Hmm.
I'm not sure if you had like an evil or like a villain
I
kind
did
of reel in
in
there.
the
Did
animation.
you?
Yeah, animation. Yeah.
Animated one. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I listened to that and I was like, oh, you know what? She would be really good as like one of the um, female Decepticons in
Yes,
particular, I think. Um,
definitely. Yeah.
I don't know, I think you have a very versatile voice. Like you could voice like WINDBLADE, RC, and like, I don't know, Black Arachnia, for example, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Oh my God, I would love that. It'd be a dream.
that would be really cool.
Definitely. Just be acting with myself.
Yeah. Yeah, so voicing three characters but like in one booth.
100%. Yeah. That's when I would look crazy. That's when I would look a little bit crazy. But I'd be having a good time, so who
Yeah.
cares?
Um, yeah, and that's what matters, really. I think just having
100%.
a great time, and I think even if you don't have like when I asked you that question, I think like a dream role of yours, and you said not really, but you just kind of take what comes to you. I think that's what matters, really, just finding what makes you happy and adapting to what you get, which is what you've done. And I think that's really inspiring and incredible. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking to someone about that too. It's funny you say that because
Mhm.
I was just saying how I think it's so we forget in today's society to do the things that we love because we're told that, you have to
Mhm.
do X, Y, Z, you have to achieve, 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 you have to do all this stuff. But like,
Mhm.
what if you like to draw, or what if you like to, you know, create music, or and you have another job, but if there's something that you love,
Mhm.
like making time for that and making time to make yourself happy and do the things that make you happy, because when you do
Yeah.
that, you elevate your energy, and then that elevates the energy of the
Mhm.
people around you, and it's better for the world, it's better for the
Mhm.
earth. It's actually like the best thing you can do for the planet is doing things that make you happy and
Mhm.
doing things that you love, because it helps raise the vibration of everything you know so I
I
completely agree with
totally
you
agree.
on
And I
that.
just,
Yeah,
yeah.
we just
I
said the
have
same
to
thing
know, are
at
you
the
like a
same time.
spiritual?
We're becoming the same person. We're melding now. It's happening.
The vibration, like the energy is like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
connecting.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And just before we wrap up, I just also have
Hmm.
to know, just because you brought that up,
Hmm.
are you like a spiritual kind of like person?
Yes, I think so. I think I've sort of recently gotten cut off from it, because I have gotten stuck in sort of
Mm-hmm.
the grind of like to do, to do, to do. I need to get things done. I need to get things done. Be productive, be
Mm-hmm.
productive, be productive. And I think um,
Mm-hmm.
when I feel the happiest is when I'm connected spiritually to just, and when I say spiritually, it's more of a connection to myself, more of my like intuition,
Yeah.
my inner voice, and then
Mm-hmm.
also making time for quiet. And I personally feel when I'm being creative that that is a spiritual experience for me, in the sense
Yeah.
of that it
Mm-hmm.
sort of like lights my soul on fire in a good way. And
Mm-hmm.
uh yeah, so that, and I meditate, and journaling
Mm-hmm.
and that, but yeah, spirituality to me is really sort of tuning into that voice, and then like any other sort of positive good thoughts that come into my head throughout the day. And creation is
Mm-hmm.
the highest form of self-expression, and also, in many uh spiritual practices, considered the ultimate expression of
Mm-hmm.
spirituality. So um
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, what about you? Do you consider yourself spiritual?
I actually do think now, especially like after COVID in particular,
Mm-hmm.
um, I kind of got into that, and yeah, it's definitely helped me grow a lot as a person, and I found myself a lot more. And I'm also quite a creative person
Mm-hmm.
um, myself, so like what you said about kind of creation being kind of like um, well, for one, a high vibration kind of like state.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just and I understand what you said by like it feeling like you're at home with yourself.
Ooh, I
Um,
like that. I don't think I
just
said that,
being
but
in that
that's what I
state.
meant. Yes. Yes, that's great.
Yeah. So yeah, I do consider myself to be kind of spiritual, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, and I honestly feel like you're like Windblade in real life because I feel like Windblade would be the type of bot to be like, I don't know, to do like journaling in the morning or, you
Yeah.
know, like meditate. I can definitely see her
You
as
would, like with her
doing
little
that in like her
wings, she would
morning
be like
routine.
levitating.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? She'd like be
Just
off
like
the
hovering
ground.
off the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I have
Yeah.
a question. Do
Yeah.
you find
Hmm.
you're more connected when you're in nature too? Like, do you go on like hikes or go, to the ocean
Yes.
or anything? Do you
Hmm.
find that like that connects you more spiritually as well?
Yes.
Yeah, same. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Because like, um, whenever I go, like, especially to like those like remote islands, like in the Pacific, just because I have family there,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Oh, lucky.
I always feel more like in tune with myself.
Mm.
I don't know, just seeing like the ocean and like the beach and everything. I don't know. Yeah, like you feel more connected and more at peace. It's a nice feeling.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's scientifically proven that that is true. Like, it's better for your body and your
Hmm.
system and
Yeah.
everything for us to be in nature. So
Hmm.
that's so nice you get to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need
Yeah,
somebody to
for
come with you
sure.
next time, I mean, I guess I could go to an island
No,
and
I would be so up
need
for it.
someone to
Yeah.
come with you. I could
Hmm.
come with.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, one more thing. I saw on your Instagram, I think, that
Uh-huh.
you have started like health coaching, was it?
Mm,
Or
yeah. Yeah. So
yeah, I
the
think
one
that's so
thing,
interesting.
oh, thank you. Yeah. It's always been something
Yeah.
that has been huge in my life. My mom is super into health and wellness
Hmm.
and food as medicine and sort of healing your body naturally.
Hmm.
And I watched her do it. And so I've always been very athletic. Like I was an athlete in high school and just, I've always been
Hmm.
very physically active. So,
Hmm.
being an actor is really fun in the sense of like, sometimes you don't know where your next paycheck's coming from. So we need to have other
Hmm.
careers sometimes. And so I thought, why not make a
Yeah.
career out of
Hmm.
the thing that I basically do every day anyways, like giving health advice to people
Hmm.
and helping people with their health
Hmm.
and achieve their goals. So yeah, I'm a functional medicine
Hmm.
health coach. I'm certified now. I took a board exam, which was crazy. It was like
Hmm.
4.5 hours at a desk. Like they take your wallet, they take everything. It was like
Hmm.
very crazy. It was like super intense. Um, but yeah, so I passed that and
Wow.
now I'm practicing and it's really rewarding helping people, It's nice to have the
Hmm.
other, little side career as something where I'm helping people, because there are other
Hmm.
jobs that actors do.
Yeah.
I've worked in production and things like that, and that's great too, but I don't it wasn't fulfilling for me in the way that, health coaching
Hmm.
is. And I'm passionate about health and wellness and sort of healing in that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hmm.
You did your research.
Yeah. Yeah, no, well, I went on your Instagram profile and I was like, oh, wait, that's really cool. She does that. Because
Yeah.
I love how you said your mom is like kind of into that because my mom is also very much into like kind of natural healing
Mm,
and all that kind of stuff. Um,
it's the
so yeah,
way.
I might save your like business phone number or something and give you a call one day. Hey, can you help me
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
some
Absolutely.
natural healing?
Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to be posting informational videos on there too. So,
Mhm.
that'll, can help too for, things you have questions
Mhm.
about. And if you do have questions about stuff, you can always message me on there because I'm always looking for new things to make
Mhm.
videos on, you know? So,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Anytime.
for sure. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to come on and talk to pretty much the Transformers fandom. It was really
Absolutely.
fun, very inspiring, very insightful. So, yeah, thank you so much. And I wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors. And I hope we get to see you again in the Transformers franchise because you are absolutely incredible.
Oh my gosh. Right back at you. I'm sending all that energy right back at you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being so kind and sweet. You're so
Thank you so
wonderful,
much.
really easy to talk
Yeah.
to. This was
Thank
so, so
you.
great. Thank you for reaching out to me. You are literally on the
Thank
other
you
side
so
of the earth
much.
right
Yeah.
now. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I can't
But
believe
I
it.
feel that energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Same, same. You're lovely.
Hmm.
So anytime you want to chat, just let me know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Of
Yeah,
course.
you too. Thank you
Yay.
so much.